All right, guys, we're getting into our next series. We got ourselves, we got ourselves doing Bancho facing off against Zul'jin Distillery. We have everyone in the lobby, and we're going to be kicking things off pretty shortly here. Hopefully, you all having a good evening. Hopefully, you have yourself a drink as we'll be starting off this series, and you probably don't want to go. And like I said prior to this match starting, this is a series that's going to be very important in general. I mean, we have two teams that are very close to each other in the standings. I mean, they are exactly the same in the standings, and that's going to push them up to potentially fifth place. If they get themselves a win, they should be ahead of. They'll be ahead of DG Reborn, and putting themselves definitely in number 6, and potentially getting themselves up to even number 5. Now we're going to kick things off, and while that is going on, draft is about to start, and we'll switch on over. Now, interestingly, Bancho has a pretty diverse hero pool, I'd say, in the 6 games they've played. Jaina has been their number 1 pick with the highest pick rate, 66.7%, so 4 games this season. They picked Johanna quite a bit as well, 3 games, and Varian in 3 games as well, which is very interesting that they've had that much success with a Varian. Now, the interesting part is that Varian is not very meta at all. And some of their picks are definitely not very meta. But remember, this is Division D, where there's a lot of different things that people will play. We've seen Arthas picked up, Vala picked up, Oriole picked up. Those are about as unmeta as you get for most of those picks. Additionally, we'll jump on over to Zul'jin Distillery. And as I've been asked, how do you distill a Zul'jin? That's a great question. I don't have the answers for that because I'm not a Zul'jin distiller. I'm more of a bourbon man, and that's probably the kind of distilling you'll get from me. So we're going to see Yrel and Alex Straza band out. This is actually great overall. You basically have to choose. Well, I'm sorry. Alex Straza is a very strong band because of the fact that you have to fight on the point. Now, the first person to get on the point controls the point regardless of if other people walk onto it. Unlike something like Brax's Holdout, where you can contest it while walking onto it. So getting rid of Alex Straza helps ensure that your team can hold it without having to retreat once Dragon is popped. And the Yrel ban is just, gravy on top because she's super strong. Additionally, we'll see on the other side the Decker Kane and the Kel'Thas. The Kel'Thas is definitely an interesting ban. I'd say if we go and look at Bancho's actual stats on this, I'm not sure it makes that much sense. They've only played a single game of Kel'Thas. They've won 1 game with the Kel'Thas, but it's not a ban that's actually what I'd consider reasonable, in part due to the fact that it's not a high priority pick for them. On the other side, though, they do pick up that Sonya. They pick up the Stukov and the Muradin for Bancho. This is a solid start. I mean, Sonya is very strong. She's dropped off, I feel, to a certain degree, where people will take the Blaze over Sonya almost all the time. But I still think Sonya has a great place in the meta. She can become very tanky, especially 16 and 20. and paired up with a Muradin, and that's a lot of CC available. On the other side, we're going to see a very high priority on the Jaina and Greymane. What's extra crazy is that Genji is not banned until the second rotation, and no one picks up the Genji, which is kind of bonkers. But that's what I'm assuming. In Division D, it's a lot less likely for these players to have even practiced the Genji, just how prevalent he is to be banned out. Additionally, we'll see the Diablo band. I really like this from Ban Cho because they've taken the Muradin, they've banned out the Diablo, which means you have to go with someone like a Johanna. And if we go and take a look at Zul'jin, well, I'm sure they've played a few games of Johanna. Maybe? No, Zul'jin has not actually played a single... Oh, sorry, my bad. Zul'jin has played the most games with Johanna. Overlooking that, she's been in 4 of their games and they won 3 of the 4. Now, at this point, I like how they're drafting. There is no priority on taking the tank. They don't need to. Technically, there's no priority to take the Leo either, but you gotta pick someone as is. Now, what's actually interesting is neither team has picked up Whitemane. I'm guessing one of the more problematic things in lower divisions is just the hero pools that are available to each of these players is probably much more reduced due to basically being gold capped or gold gatekeeped, so they can't pick up all these big juicy heroes like Decker Kane and Whitemane because they don't have enough gold to actually purchase them, and they don't want to shell out the cash, which is perfectly reasonable. And well, they pick up a Stitches instead. Now, I don't like the Stitches pickup overall. They have Junkrat, who can knock himself away and knock Stitches away. They have Muradin, who can jump away. They have Stukov, who can silence the Stitches and keep them locked down later on. And Lunara, if she picks Leaping Strike, who can also leap back and forth to get out of the way. Now, Sonya and Stukov are probably the juiciest targets, but even still, I'm not really a fan of the Stitches into this current team. I think the Johanna would have been better overall for him, given more wave clear. She's significantly tankier, and they've demonstrated good success with her so far. But we're going to jump on into the game as things have loaded on in. We're going to get D-Wit on that Stitches, because Stitches want to play. We got Cowboy Kyle on that Leoric. Got Ankle Shot on the Jaina. Led a Star on the Malfurion. We got Be Fresh on the Greymane, and that is going to be Zul'jin Distillery. On the other side, we got ourselves Scav 13 on the Stukov, DKO 26 on the Lunara. We got Quinnell on the Junkrat, Blue Steen V2 on the Sonya, Sluggadin on the Muradin, and finally we're going to have, did I get everyone there? Yeah, and that is going to be and Quinnell on the Junkrat, and that is going to be a Ban Cho. So we're going to have the footsie fight in mid. A lot of wave clear here available on the side of Zul'jin Distillery. That's one thing they definitely have going for them. They have a much better early game in wave clear department. We're going to have Leo in the top lane, a Blue Steen in the top lane as well instead of the bot lane. And I believe this is just a difference in meta between EU and A, where who plays what lane as a solo lane on top versus bottom. Now, with the Greymane and Jaina, they can basically put one in each, one mid, one bot, and clear those lanes without even having to rotate if they so chose. Because, well, Jaina just has free clear on her own, but odds are Jaina is going to take the Fingers of Frost and going to want to get as many globes as possible. So really, the thing to keep in mind is that Jaina shouldn't be clearing bot. Like, she's counter-rotating against her team, which hurts D-Wit and hurts herself because she's not going to get as many globes. And you can actually see 5 globes, 2 globes. As a team, they should have been there all together to get those. We're also going to get the perfect aim from Greymane. Now, he really can't go in potentially because of the displacement from Junkrat. the poison from Lunar to slow him down, the stuns, and yeah, it's going to be hard for him to go in, but I feel if you're going to play a cocktail build Greymane, you might as well not play Greymane pretty much whatsoever. Now, other side, we have also the Shando's Clarity and the Consume Vitality. We have Warpaint, a Third Wind, put some English on it, Pop in Pustules, and finally Natural Perspective. So, like I said, they're keeping up the wave clear. Quinel is going to do a fine job. He can poke it from afar, and once level 4 comes around, he does have that taste for explosions, where he's going to want to get as much value as possible out of that. We do have the Hurricane, so more spin to win action. We have actually the full tank builds coming on out. Hook coming out from DeWitt, going to be a swing and a miss as he goes right between the members of Ban Cho. We do have the Frost Shards coming on out. We have the Deep Roots, and finally Neo Peasants, which is going to allow Leo to clear both the top and mid significantly better. Now, both teams did pick up their camps roughly around the same time as well. Greymane able to do that real easy on his own, and they also pick up the Sage camp perfectly. And that's actually better than many teams I've seen before who are much higher divisions. They'll pick up the Siege camp, 30 seconds before the objective actually occurs. DeWitt off on an island and will have Ankle Shot and Be Fresh there, but Let a Star is nowhere nearby to actually drop any healing. He is there now. There is the 5. Oh, nice hook from D with the root right on top. They have obliterated Lunara, but Be Fresh might be up next on the menu, and it is a 1-for-1. However, they are super low slugged in, and we'll have to back out. Bluestein trying to spin to win. Cowboy Kyle going to get some trait value here, and Bluestein, the hook on back, and Sonya will be going on down as well. So this is actually fairly good. They trade 2-for-1, and actually, sorry, they trade 2-for-2, but it's Leo. Leo's going to respawn here very, very shortly. We got DeWitt. There's a swing and a miss once again from DeWitt. No hook this time. A beautiful silence from Skev, but he needs to back on out. Cowboy Kyle taking a lot of damage. Does have the drain on Sluggedin, and he is going to be standing up there. Be Fresh going for the booty of Junkrat, and Junkrat will be able to get out in time without going down. The stun from Murden, and he will be able to still retreat. Be Fresh. They need, ooh, the hook on back onto Bluestein. Ankle Shot, looking for it, but Skev once again with the beautiful silence as they are now fighting for the protectors right here. 99% to 0. This is a do or die. Ankle Shot, but Cowboy Kyle will be going down first, and they will have to give this up. The hook though onto Quinel. Quinel does knock them all back, and DeWitt might be actually going down here. Slug coming on in, looking for the kill, but Bluestein will trade a 1-for-1 there. This is a fast and furious game so far. 4 kills, 3 kills. This is brutal on both sides. They're picking up kills left and right, but not getting themselves a major lead, except for the fact that they just picked up the Protector. However, they didn't have Sonya here, and they're not actually getting too much value out of this. They get the front wall, but this is actually pretty good for Zul'jin Distillery. All things considered, this is already less than half life, about 20% life left on there. Bottom has been pushed in very heavily, and some T-Tours there. I didn't expect Jaina to go down. Nice silence, and the knockback. Quinel taking a lot of damage though, and they have gotten themselves a decent XP lead on the side of Ban Cho. At this point, camps are available. Bluestein looking to be very aggressive here. They do have DKO though to back him on up. DeWitt looking for it, and they could potentially hook through. They do get Slugged in, but he's going to just hop on over. Cowboy Kyle coming in from the rear, and the silence keeping the rest of the team from doing too much. The drain keeping Cowboy alive. Be Fresh looking for some booty. Skev is down. Slugged in next up on the list, but will hop on over that wall, and they'll be picking up a kill and the turret. So a very aggressive play with a nice hook from DeWitt helps and get them the kill there. And with them losing the support, it's a very, very critical, and there's no way for them to win that trade. We also have a Savor the Flavor combined with Amplified Healing with Hungry for More. And really, Stitches is going to go crazy eventually as the game goes on. The hook onto Quino, no one there to really follow up. Angle shot will not be there. Oh, DeWitt getting knocked back, almost getting sent over the wall, but he'll be walking away looking fine. So 10s have been hit for the side of Bancho, and they pick up their own turret. I would have liked to see Zul'jin actually walk over and take the turret from Bancho. As they picked up the kill, they should have easily been able to win that engagement. There's the hook coming out from DeWitt. Another miss from him. We basically need like a counter here for every hook. Like how many does he hit and how many does he miss? So we got 17 on Fingers of Frost. 21 out of 30 is going to be really big once it's completed. In Incendiary Elixir, we have 0. We have 8 on the Stormbolt, 39 for Taste for Explosions on the other side. And we have Skullcracker. Skullcracker is definitely not the choice here, in my opinion. There's nothing to really be gained out of it. And it's a very low value skill, I feel, overall. In comparison to the slow from Stukov, the stun that you provide, your own slow, and additionally the stun from Sonya, and then the slow from Lunar. Like, this is 100% a give them the axe game. But they're going to be duking it out. And Tranquility has come on out. The Ring of Frost going to land onto Muradin. They're trying to chew through him. Be Fresh going to try and get Skev. He is able to go into working form, looking for it, getting onto Bluestein, and go for the throat. Finishes off Skev. There's the hook. There's the roots. And that's another one. And another one. And they are going to get themselves a 2 for nothing here. This is a big switch for Zul'jin. They're getting a more important objective. They're getting the second objective of the evening, which is going to be stronger, obviously, than the first. They have a turret. They have the siege camp, which is going to be pushing on in. And they have, well, Muradin setting up there. They are going to lose this turret. They are rotating down. This is highly dangerous. There's the hook onto Slugadin. He has nowhere to go. Be Fresh is there. He's going to walk on back, and they're going to call it a day. This is a very awkward move by both teams. They have everyone up on both sides. This is the time to fight. Ring of Frost is down, Tranquility is down, and Go for the Throat is down. You have a Leap available, you have Riptire available, and you have Leaping Strike. Why would you go for the turret camp and just give this up 100% for free? You can fight on equal footing here. And then Zul'jin also makes a bad play there. Zul'jin leaves the Malfurion and looks for a fight. What happens if all 5 members of Bancho were there? Guess what happens? They lose multiple members, and Protector is going to get no value at that point. The hook onto Quino, the Roof follow-up. Once there was a Junkrat, and then he was blown up by his own confidence. And Muradin is going to join him very shortly after. So this is now Value Town. They can get a lot of value here. They have no poke from Junkrat, so no stacking Taste for Explosions. They're going to take down the entire front wall, looking for the hook, going to miss. But DeWitt, when he's getting them hooks, getting beautiful follow-up from Let Us Star, is securing the kills. Bluestein going to be taking some damage from the Protector. DeWitt is going to be busting out the Putrid Brile to zone him on out. And really, they can't walk very far forward, and they will take a fairly early keep at this point. The hook onto Muradin, the root on top of him, and he is taking an buttload of damage. The Riptire coming on out. They'll actually blow it up before he can do anything with it, and they'll walk away up an entire level and soon to be 2 levels. So at this point, they're looking for the play, but the play is not going to be happening. They do have a support camp that they can pick up. They do have the invade that they can do, but they don't have the actual talent advantage to do this. And I don't really like it. They should just go for the support camp at this point because there's a lot of people missing. If there's a lot of people missing, you have to assume that they're doing a camp. Or you should assume they're doing a camp. And if they're not doing the support camp, they're either doing a siege camp, which is not available, or they're doing fortification camp, which was available. And if you don't see them in lanes, soaking anywhere, well, once again. They're actually waiting for him to rotate up. Zul'jin is giving... I feel this is a conundrum for Zul'jin, where they're giving too much respect to their opponent, while at the same time not realizing that the respect is falsely placed because they themselves are not realizing where they should be. So the actual map awareness isn't the greatest in understanding where Bancho is. However, they understand what they want to accomplish and plays that they can make. Unfortunately, it's not aligning appropriately. The plays you can make require you to know where your enemies are going to be, or where you believe they're going to be. We got the hook coming on out. We do have, I believe, the fishing cook here. So we got the fishing cook and the indigestion as well. We have a 0 stack still on the incendiary elixir. So really, like I felt, this build isn't really getting any value overall. We have the ice barrier and the numbing blast. Ice barrier is definitely not the pick here. Icy veins is the way to go. I mean, you really shouldn't. The hook and the root going to zone out, but the leap from Bluestein going to save his life. Very nice attempt there from Zul'jin, but they're not going to get it done. Not going to produce that sweet, sweet elixir coming from the blood of Sonya. I'm looking for it again. The hook is good there. The leaping strike, they will be able to get away. And DeWitt securing another beautiful hook for his team to get the kill. At this point, it's a 5v4. DeWitt going to try and zone him out. The Entomb, perfect. But the flailing swipe into the roots from Jaina. And the booty of Stukov might be a little pimply, but they're going to pop him like a zit. $17 to 15. There's no way for them to contest this. They're also wasting a lot of time here, I feel, on this side of... Ankle shot going to be knocked down over. There comes the turret to try and zone, and ankle shot will be able to get over as the turret absorbs all of that damage. And really, they're overstaying here. They had a 16 advantage. They have none now, and they have no advantage coming into the bot lane fight. Top lane is going to be cleared up pretty quickly by the likes of Bancho, but because they're coming in 16 versus 17, this is not the kind of situation you want. They do have a support camp. They have triple turrets and the healing camp. So that does give them a very big edge, but it's still a fight that you could have been better off, just waiting for it. In fact, like, clearing mid gets them almost nothing. Clearing bot is the play to have made if you're going to do anything, because clearing this up, they can walk down to bot lane keep, and it's better to have bot lane keep down than it is to get mid lane down. So at this point, they have to get on here and start up this fight ASAP. They need to make him burn. Oh, there's the hook onto Slug. The root is going to be perfect, and he's going to be locked on down. The Ring of Frost going to connect on 4 members, but all the damage onto B-Fresh. DKO on the back line, chewing through with that poison, and it's a 3 for 3. DeWitt is trying to make his stand here, and Cowboy Kyle, last man, going to be standing. DKO going to be going down. Bluestein going to have to run for his life, and with 4 turrets on the point, my God, there's no way for Bluestein to do anything about this. So, this is insane. 4 members going down. This is one of the best scenarios they can get on the side of Bancho. They have delayed the use of the protector. Bluestein will be able to clear this up and soak a little bit more. They're not going to be facing a 20 versus 17 or 18 situation, but they're very close to be facing that situation. You can see Leo is all alone, doesn't even have that extra damage, which means that it gets a lot less value. We're already down to a minute left onto this protector, and its HP is falling simultaneously. And, well, this is how Bancho can save the game right now. They take down the protector, keep themselves in the running for 20, and find themselves, all of a sudden, able to take a 20 versus 20 fight. Jaina is now locked in, and they only have 30 more seconds. If they can get a big kill here, it's going to really give them the momentum they need. It's 19 to 18. They need to finish poking this down ASAP. They also need to have one member at least soaking, at least one member. Ultimately, they should actually just have Murden soak mid, have the Sonya soak top, and just get themselves to 20, because now it's a 20 versus 18 scenario. Protector about to go down. Fishing Cook has been used. The front wall is completely down. This gives them a nice start to sieging and ending the game by a bot lane or just through top. Now, they need to sit and look for the fight here. They need to force this, which is exactly what Zul'jin will do. They're going to force this fight. The Flailing Swag coming on out. The Fishing Cook, though, will connect on Skev and say goodbye. He will be obliterated. The 1-2 combo, the hook into the root, into the blizzard, and they're instantly annihilated. This was the worst possible situation for Bancho, trying to take a fight and even sticking their head forward. The hook across onto Lunara. They do get the leaping strike perfectly timed, but Be Fresh is going to chew through the deer, and we're going to have some venison tonight, boys. And so mistake after mistake here for Bancho, trying to get into the 20 versus 20, but now they're actually looking for the game winning push here. They have 40 seconds before Lunar is up. They don't have Putrid Bile. They do have the Entomb. They do have the Tranquility. They do have the Buried Alive available as well, but they're going to knock on down on this. There's the silence. They have nowhere to go. They're trapped on in there. Core is falling quickly, and it's not going to be much good because GG to Zul'jin Distillery. So Zul'jin Distillery definitely had a little bit of a rough start there, but then they kicked it into high gear, and the high gear was basically this fishing or the hook into the roots and into the blizzard. They never had the cleanse available. They didn't have like basically the flying swipe available, and especially with the hook, they could never reach. Stukov could never reach whoever was hooked, and he himself was hooked several times. The DPS is actually crazy because we have Leo at the top on the side of Zul'jin Distillery, and Be Fresh and Jaina as Inkle Shot on Jaina, falling below the stitches, or sorry, falling below the Leo. But Junkrat did so much damage, 51,000. Lunara actually did quite a bit as well. If we look at the healing, well, really, I'd say the big problem was that Stukov got picked off several times. He put out significantly less healing when it was all said and done, in part because he died so often. And Malfurion kept them all topped up, and on top of picking off people left and right all game, 16 kills, many of them thanks to Stitches, as you can see, 5 and 11. And then tanking, well, Muradin tanked a lot. So did Stitches. And Sonya and Leo, pretty even there as well. Unfortunately, they made a lot of misplays for Bancho. 18 versus 20. Pick off. Another pick off. And then, well, that's basically all she wrote at that point. And GG to Zul'jin Distillery. We'll be right back with game number 2, so sit on tight while the replays are popping on up for all of you.